Are you afraid of the dark? Have you ever felt, heard, or seen things that aren't there? Paranormal activity, stalking spirits, past lives, portals into the unknown, and more. Take a journey into the shadows with your hosts, Regina and Teresa, as they discuss all things paranormal.
Okay, so we've been doing this for about an hour and a half, just trying to get to you guys. So, well, I'm just glad it's not lagging now, so we can actually have a conversation about this cool stuff that you did this. When was that? A couple weeks ago that y'all did this investigation that we're going to talk about?
Yeah, it was April the 4th.
Yeah. So well, I just want to kind of, I noticed that some people are coming on right now so people can interact with us. That's pretty cool. That's one thing I do like about this is that people can actually interact and ask questions if they have questions about what we're talking about and all that. But the only bad thing is that I'm not sure that we can connect this to our YouTube channel. So I guess we just have to see how this goes. And but I definitely, we wanted to talk about your investigation because it's a really cool one. I mean, not many people have gotten to do that at that place where you went. I guess, do you want to tell people about where it was and who is famous for? I guess she's famous for, or is famous because she was there. I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Yeah.
why don't you tell everybody a little bit like who it was and why y'all decided to do the investigation there?
Well, what happened was two of my team members kind of was going there, kind of enjoying a beer for the last couple times, like a few weeks in a row they did this, and they called me and they said, hey, we're at the Last Resort in Port Orange. And we have heard about Last Resort before and knew that it was kind of notorious for the serial killer Eileen Wuornos. And we knew that she had hung out there in the movie Monster. I don't know if anybody had watched that, the story of Eileen. And I'm going to take my glasses off because everything's shining in there. And we were there, decided to go ahead and do this. So I contacted them and spoke with the bartender, Darlene, and her husband, and we set this up. So we got there, and a pretty interesting place. We did a walkthrough in the daytime just to kind of see what was going on there. And because it is famous for her hanging out there, which we found out she hung around in quite a few bars out there in Daytona. I think this was on my webpage, the Hide and Seek Facebook page, is we probably got the most views we ever had with any investigation. And I think basically because of the affiliation of Eileen Wuornos to that site.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's wild, and yeah, just like with any case like that, serial kill. I mean, people are just so interested, and then of course, I mean, they want to know: is she still hanging around there? Is she, how much of an influence did she have on that place? And is it really her spirit, or is it the spirits of the people that she possibly murdered? I mean, so there are just so many questions around that. So, and we haven't talked yet about what you found or didn't find or anything. So this is kind of interesting because I'm hearing it for the first time too right now. So, but anyway, so yeah, so I mean, anytime you can investigate a place that was linked to a serial killer or anyone like that in any way, I mean, to me, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's pretty cool. And then it's going to get, I just hope that it doesn't make people like bombard that place, because it is, they are spirits. I mean, there's spirits there. And I guess to be respectful of the situation, it's kind of a salty place. I mean, is it not? But
Yeah.
but you still have to realize these people were alive and they were human beings and they've passed on. So I hate for places to get too much hype, because then people are it's going to be more of a tourist destination, that type of thing, instead of just trying to figure out what's going on like we do. We just want to find out who's there and why they're there. But anyway, so I just but I'm just like everybody else right now. So like what did you find, or did you?
Well, the interesting things when we got there, I set up to do some interviews. Of course, we had 3 new team members that joined our team. Our team is getting pretty big. I think we've got 12 altogether now on the team, and we have 3 new ones that have some investigative experience, but not a whole lot. They've never really belonged to a team. We got one that has done, she is like my research specialist now, and she's pretty awesome with it. She's able to get a hold of different venues to find out information for us that we can't get a hold of. And I won't, I don't know her secret to it, but she discovered before we even got there that there had been 2 accidents out in front of the location. One car accident, ended in death, and it was a DOA. And then there was a stabbing also inside the bar, and they did perform CPR on it. Whether or not the person died, that we were not able to find out, but the accident we did find out. And then the bar itself is very quirky. The owner is very quirky, and everybody that goes there is pretty quirky. But it had some history to it, and it's got out back, just kind of like Iron Horse is, but not quite as Iron Horse is got more commercialized, a little bit more different, and that The Last Resort is you kind of feel like you're walking into Halloween kind of in there. And there has been some other things. There's a tree out there in the back where there's old motorcycles laid all around this tree. It looks like a motorcycle graveyard. Even motorcycles hanging down from the tree that people there's one that's made into a swing, and you can swing on the motorcycle. And around that tree, bikers that have passed on from anywhere and who have like frequented that bar has asked their ashes to be spread around that tree. So there's a lot of bikers that had their ashes spread around the tree. And then there was also some bikers that actually had the memorials held at that location. So it was interesting when we went there with the group, and how different it was. There's a lot of items. They do play it up, about Eileen being there. And so there's actual items that the owner has her bra. He told me there's a lot of stories that they actually told me because they knew her personally. And he said he actually took that bra off of her right before she walked out the door and was arrested. And then he had a briefcase full of items that he has of her personal items. He even still to this day gets mail delivered to that location with her name on it. And he also said that she didn't have a place to stay at times, and there was different times that he let her sleep out on the back of that property on like a bucket seat, like a old truck bucket seat that just sat out there in the open. And then they have different like trailer things out there, like an ice trailer and some other trailers, and people actually live out there behind on the property. And I think at one time she did also, so it was kind of a cool place to get to go to. And we did a phone interview with another lady. She didn't give her real name, just gave what they know her as at that location. And her name was Ted E. Bear. And I got to talk to her, and she told me a lot of stories about that place and her interactions with Eileen Warnes herself, and that she believes Eileen Warnes is there. There's been some incidences on our website. You can go and actually listening to the stories that she told. She told a story about a purse that a lady came in and got hot sauce, and it was hot sauce that had Eileen Warnes's picture on it and likeness on it. And I forget the name of the hot sauce. I think I have a picture of it. And that the lady had bought the hot sauce there and left. And then she came back later and said, I don't want this hot sauce. Things are happening at my house. I want you to have the hot sauce. And she said, not only do I want you to have the hot sauce, I want you to have my purse that I put the hot sauce in. And so that purse is there. And we actually used it as a trigger object. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So getting back though, whenever you were saying that the man who owned the place, that he had some items of hers and things. Now I know that you're very good with when you're able to sense things, feel things whenever you touch items, see items. Did you have a strong feeling about any of those items that you were able to see that night?
No, I didn't. It was real strange because usually you and I both know that when we go to locations, a lot of times spirit will come to us before we even get there. And that's happened at many of the investigations that I had. And this time that did not happen. When we got there, and I have my theory about what's going on over there. When we got there, I felt nothing, absolutely nothing. I believe that there are a few spirits that hang out there, but I think that the type of people they would present themselves to wasn't us. So a lot of times on the investigations, you have to build your trust with these people, and it's like going to a party, and if you're not, if the people don't want to come up and talk to you and your group because they don't fit in with you and your group, then they'll go talk to a group that they do fit in. So we were able to connect with a male spirit who liked to tease the girls, but there was a female spirit in the background that we were getting, but she wasn't very strong. She wasn't as strong as the male presence that was there. And Eileen, from her personality and what I was told, I don't think that she would have probably came up and approached our group. There's probably maybe one or two in the group that she might have, but the rest of us were not biker types. Maybe if we had went, and we discussed this later, that maybe we should have went in maybe biker attire and made ourselves more approachable.
Well, yeah, possibly. And I really believe that if she would have been there in full force, that she probably would have came through, because it was just her personality and just the kind of the way that she's kind of portrayed. I mean, I didn't personally know her, but as the way she's portrayed was pretty wild and outspoken and that type of person. So I really believe that if she had been there and really wanted her presence known, it would have been known.
Yeah,
I just haven't thought about that.
But just to kind of interrupt you there, the personality that you're discussing of her really wasn't her personality. The lady that we talked to that knew her said she was very, very quiet and very to herself. Like when she would go into the location and when she would see this lady named Teddy Bear, she would go over to her and she'd actually kind of nudge her with her shoulder against the woman as she walked by. And that was her way of saying hello. She she was very loud and outspoken when she got angry, and she, when things angered her, that's when she became that way. But other than that, they said that she was very, nobody there had anything bad to say about her at all. The part that really was hard to contend with all that is you have people that feel sorry for her, and they, oh, well, just because of her life and what happened to her, she killed all those people. We have to feel sorry for her. They raped her. They did all this. From what I heard from the people who knew her, there may have been one guy, the first initial one, that probably actually roughed her up, and it did something like that with her, not to the extreme that she said on the stand, which she changed her stories back and forth many times about what really happened. But we also have to remember, and that's what we were trying to do, is that there was 7 victims, and all those victims have family members. And there was even in some of the responses that we got on our Facebook page, there was a girl that got on there and said that her boyfriend was the grandson of one of the guys who were killed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Well, because it seems to me that a lot of the victims that she had were possibly not even doing anything to her or really trying. They were either just trying to help her, but then just in her mental state, she probably took it a different way. I mean, that's kind of what I gathered from some of the stories, was that she thought she was kind of like trying to defend herself against some of these people, but they weren't really trying to hurt her. I mean, is that kind of what, in some of those cases, that was the case?
yeah.
Or
Yeah, and there's somebody on here that just asked, Samantha asked, who are we talking about and where? And I wanted to just say that again. Eileen Warnes is
Hey,
who we're
Samantha.
talking about.
Yeah.
And then at the Last Resort Bar over there in Port Orange, Florida is the location we're discussing. And again, we're kind of talking about that location and some of the people that were connected to it. So I just wanted to throw that out. Somebody had said, wrote a
Yeah.
little.
And if they don't know who Eileen Warnos is, she is the one that they did the movie called Monster about, and supposedly, I guess, but were most of the people that she had killed like truck drivers and that type of, is that
No,
how
what
she
they
kind of,
were.
or
No, she was a prostitute. She was a prostitute. That's the best way I could say it. And she had also worked other jobs. There was jobs that she worked that she didn't prostitute, but I think that she didn't know how to take care for herself and budget her money, etc. So she kind of sold herself. She was a lesbian. She preferred the company of females, and she actually did have a girlfriend there that she really, really loved. We did hear a lot of stories about that. She was angry from her childhood. She had been bullied a lot. She had been molested by her grandfather, her brother, family friend, all kinds of people. She was that girl that wanted to be accepted. She ended up pregnant at 14 years old and basically got kicked out of the home and lived in behind in some woods. And we're talking a cold era up north is where they were from. And she ended up coming to Florida because after sleeping out, you know, in the woods, in the snow and everything else, it's not comfortable. So Florida was more where you could sleep out in the woods and not have to worry about freezing to death. And that's kind of how she made her way down here. The guys that she killed were Johns. They were
okay.
actual guys who basically picked her up for sex. And so her thing about that was that they had every single one of them in her mind, every single one of them deserved to die because they all did something to her to deserve to die. And you know, when you look at it, you know, how can you, I can't say anything because I'm not her. I just know as a person who's been through those things ourselves, you have a choice in life whether or not you're gonna, you know, hurt people or not hurt people just because you were hurt. And she took a different road, and she would have probably continued killing people if they wouldn't have caught her.
Yeah. Well, so with knowing that about her, do you think at any given time that her presence could be at the bar where you investigated, or do you think that she has somewhat moved on, or, you know, that's not a place that she would, you know, like if someone doesn't have real good memories or things that have happened, would they go back to a certain spot? So do you think that bar has enough good memories for her to want to make her presence known?
Yes, I do. Well, she still has friends there at that location. There are a lot of people that did frequent the bar that accepted her. and they didn't, you know, mistreat her the way that she was mistreated at other places, and especially up north when she was mistreated badly. And she was, like I said, madly in love with a female that, you know, they both lived not too far from that location. There's a hotel over there that I would like to go over there and maybe stay the night in the room that she stayed in, and see if we can connect with her on a one-on-one. The other reason I think that there was issues, the location, of course, is a bar. There was people in there drinking before, you know, before we actually did the investigation. And of course, that even continued with, you know, after the investigation, which kind of makes it hard to do, you know, a controlled investigation when you've got the staff still kind of drinking on the location. So that, combined with the lights and the electrical components inside the location itself, contributed to everything happening. We had like all of our equipment, everything, the batteries went down. We had a guy that had a handheld, and it didn't take less than 30 minutes. It drained his handheld completely. All our batteries that we had just put in, we always refresh all the batteries for each investigation, and we got there and everything was just dead. They were dying, and we couldn't even start the equipment. So whatever spirit was there needed the energy. And I believe that all the lights, all the flashing lights that are above on the bars, you know what I'm talking about, inside a bar that keeps going all the time, I believe that takes a lot of the energy away. Do I think that she would probably come back there? I think that the stories that I heard from some of the people that I heard them from, I do believe that she probably does, but I also believe it's connected to those people.
Not necessarily the location.
Yeah, exactly. There was we did have the girl that does the research, we were able to come up with 3 different Bobs at that location. And of course, one of the spirits kept claiming, we asked several times, and he kept telling us that his name was Bob. And there was also a female yelling out his name. It's like she was tattletelling on him. And it was like, we would say, "What is your name?" And you could hear the female in the back going, "Bob," you know, "Bob." Like, "Oh, that's Bob." You know, it's kind of like, that's the feeling we got off of that. The interesting, probably the most interesting spirit box communication that we got was about that purse. The story that I had told you, that the spirit actually talked about the purse. So that was pretty cool to capture that. But do I think that she's walking around hurting people in there, and, you know, like a lot of people want to believe? No, I think that there was 3 combinations for her. She had some issues with mental illness. Somebody else that was real close to her also said a combination of a head injury. So I don't know the story behind that. And then, of course, you top it off with her upbringing as a child and her molestation and everything else. There's 3 factors that contributed to her mental stability.
Well, now, did you you said that did you do a mini kind of an investigation of the outdoor part of the building, or did y'all just kind of stick in the inside? Because I know you had said that they had possibly had where they had spread some ashes outside and stuff. So did y'all pick up anything out there as far as that goes?
Well, that one's a little bit more difficult because you have people that's living on the property. So we had people coming out of they're like little RVs back there, and they were kind of coming and going out of there. So there was not really a way that we could investigate the back. Plus, then you had the staff that was out there, sitting out there, and they were loud. So the contamination part of that, we didn't even try. My group, the first group, when the second group went in, we kind of walked around out there and tried to see what we could get. And me also. And of course, there was just nothing was coming straight out. I will say, though, with all of that, after we got home, after the investigation, we had something that did follow us home, and that made a lot of noise in our home. So right as we were going to sleep, I'm gonna say we got home probably about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. We got to bed and were in bed about 2:30. And all of a sudden, a lot of banging, a lot of knocking on the windows, a lot of what we call pinging. My spirit attachment that I have at home was acting out on top of the new things that we were kind of hearing and witnessing in the house. But that person didn't show themselves. They just were like loud. They were very loud. The next day, I was talking to somebody, and I don't know if was I talking to you or was it somebody else when I said somebody peeked around the corner and I could see them.
I think at one point when we were talking, you had said that there was just so much activity that day or two after y'all got back. So, and I think I was talking to you when something happened. I can't remember exactly what it was, but yeah. So, of course, that's not unusual.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's not unusual for us when we do investigations like this to come home and have things happen for a day or two, and then we kind of have to send them on their way, send them back where they came from. But that's I really feel like as you're talking and stuff, I was just like I feel like it was the male that you were dealing with in that situation. So so whether it was the guy that they were calling Bob or whoever, I feel like it was more him than a female that kind of followed you back. But I don't know what you picked up on that as far as that goes.
Well, whenever I saw them peek around the corner, I'll give a description what I saw. The person was about 5'8" in height. They weren't real tall, but they weren't real short. And they kind of peeked around and they had kind of a scraggly kind of hair, and the hair was long enough that they had it kind of a little bit in their face to obscure their face where I couldn't see too much of their face, but I could see their hair and I could see their hair color, which was more of a dirty kind of what you would call a dishwater color, maybe with a little strawberry in it, as the color of the hair that I saw. That was the first time they showed it, and it was real quick when they do that. And sometimes they'll show you as a shadow, sometimes they'll show you themselves full body. This was more full body when I saw them peek around the corner. And then the third day, they showed me themselves as a shadow figure. So they kind of did 3 different presentations of themselves. I also feel like it was a male. So just to agree with you on that, I don't believe it was Eileen Warnes at all. I don't think that she would have liked me too well, because we had 2 different, we tried 2 different types of communications within the place. We were trying to be real respectful, but also from everything of our conversations, I have no empathy for, I have empathy that she went through horrible things, but I don't have empathy for what she did. I think she deserved the death penalty for what she did. So I don't think that she would like how I felt about her and even come here to speak with me. I was more empathetic towards the male, and I felt like he was more humorous. Now, there was a person on my page, on the hide and seek page, that communicated with me, and this is the Bob that I think it was. And she has gone back and forth, and she's going to send me some pictures of him. And I asked her about his personality, and it fit what we were getting about his personality. Yeah.
Well, before we go on, I wanted to, Billy Sue Lawless had asked about pictures and things of that nature that y'all got. And I just wanted to remind everybody that they can go to hide and seek, your hide and seek website. And do you want to give them your website and everything that way? That, because I know you posted videos and pictures and all that kind of stuff there, and on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I got 3 locations you can go to check it out. And we did get pictures and even video of the purse. And there's other items too that we got pictures of inside the thing, a mural that is dedicated to Eileen that was painted by Teddy Bear. but it also mentions her victims, because the teddy bear lady that I talked to did no way condone what Eileen did, but as a person, Eileen never did anything to her, no wrongs to her, so she couldn't really, she said in her heart she would never say anything wrong because she didn't experience Eileen in the way that maybe those 7 victims experienced her. But we have it on the YouTube page, Hide and Seek Paranormal Society YouTube page. So go there and subscribe and check out some of our other videos. But we've got a 18-minute video on YouTube that goes through the investigation and goes through the interview that we had with the teddy bear, and shows some of the like the mural, and talks about the stories and the different things that happened there. And of course you can hear the spirit box communication. Is that a train in the background?
Yeah, you've never heard it before? I live right by a train.
No, I
That's
sure didn't.
funny.
And then
That's
the
funny.
other place is it's www.hide and the word and seek paranormalsociety.com. And then of course on our Facebook page, which is Hide and Seek Paranormal Society. If you go to those 3 locations, you'll be able to read all the stories that were written, because I did write stories on it, and then the videos. And then we do have also the full investigation, which I did not post because those investigations end up to be very long. They're almost 2+ hours. And if somebody wants that, they could contact me personally. And my email is insightfullygifted@yahoo.com. And if you go on to those other sites, you'll be able to click onto the email and contact me through there.
Well, so I guess the next thing is what was one of the best pieces of evidence of activity did y'all get out of this? Was it an EVP, or was it some, was it move, did y'all see something move, or what do you think was the best piece of evidence that would kind of prove that there are spirit, or that there is spirit activity there?
Well, I would never go out and say with what we caught that we could guarantee 100% that that place is haunted. I could say that we did get spirit communication, but I always get spirit communication. If there's any spirits anywhere in the location, one of my gifts is they'll come and put their voice through a spirit box or on audio for me on my voice recorder. And that is kind of one of my gifts, that they all come and do that for me. The 2 things that our group actually personally experienced, we weren't able to catch on video or audio. We had we were told, and before the investigation began, that Eileen liked to go in the back of the bar. There is a bell, and she would get over there to the bell and she would ring the bell, and it's hanging up somewhere in the back of the bar. And we actually did hear the bell ring, but we didn't catch it on video or audio. The other thing that we heard when we were all in there was a kind of a bang on metal. So something in there moved and fell or moved, but we were unable to catch that and verify that on video or audio neither. The other things were mostly spirit box communications. No EVPs. It was just, more of the spirit box than anything else, which I feel anybody that's there, they're not real, if they're there, strong, unless they just came in just to say hi because they knew that we were there. And some of us, have the abilities to be able to hear them.
Well, so with your conclusion with the investigation, was it pretty much what you've been saying, that there are some spirits that are there, probably not all the time, but just come to visit the actual people that work there, or the I guess the owner and the people that work there, they're just coming pretty much to visit and say hi, make their presence known to them. And then also, second part to that question, do you feel like Eileen Warnos, just in your opinion? I mean, this is based off of your opinion and what you feel, because this is really like for the both of us when we do investigations. A lot of what we do is off of what we feel and hear and see. So, do you feel like that she does make her presence known anywhere, or do you think that there's a particular person that she, because I know, sometimes spirits will, okay, they're going to visit this place or that place, or a certain person, or whatever. So do you feel like she's moved on, or do you feel like she is really stuck because of the things that she's done?
I feel that she is stuck. I do think that she comes and visits the people that she knew or that accepted her. Do I think that she's at that location all the time? No. Do I think that it just more is seasonal for her, is kind of like what I would like to say, and that there's specific people that the interactions for her is real important. Honestly, I don't think that if you go in there and you just are wanting to experience Eileen Warnes, is she necessarily there? No, I think that the place holds some memories for her that probably the only time that she was accepted. So do I think she comes and goes there? Yes, but I think it's more for the certain people and not for the place itself. Did I personally experience Eileen Warnes as a psychic? No, I did not. I did not feel her presence there at all. But like I said, I'm not really the type of person that she would go up and talk to if I was in a bar or anything like that. I don't think that I would be the type of person she would come up and talk to.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I guess, I mean, it was really a neat experience, I'm sure, to just go in there and know the history behind it and know that she was part of this place, and obviously what she had done in life as far as being, she's considered a serial killer. I mean, she killed more than one person, I guess. I don't know what the technical term of a serial killer is, but anyways, she killed multiple people. So it's just pretty much, I mean, you became part of that part of her history, being able to investigate the place and do all that. And so, do you feel like you would have a connection with her if you were able to do another, like, say you went to investigate the hotel where she stayed, and stayed in that room? Do you feel like there would be any more of a close connection to her because you've already experienced that place? It's like the more things you do that link you to that person could cause a closer connection. So do you feel like that you would have kind of a better chance to communicate with her at another location?
Yeah, I really do. I think that's one of the things that we'd like to do. I don't know if I'd want her coming home with me because of her mental illness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that her personality switched so to the extreme either way that she's not one of the characters that I'd like to add to my little collection of spirits.
No.
But do I think that after if she had been anywhere around at all there that night, if we were investigating, I think that would take another investigation, and I think at a place that was more quiet and probably less obstructive with lights and stuff like that. Do I think that she would probably maybe communicate? I think she would.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I asked that question was because I really feel like if she was there, and even if she was like watching in the background, watching y'all do everything you were doing, that I think her spirit would realize, oh, that's the people that wanted to contact me, wanted to talk to me at this place. Now they're over here. kind of like when those, like, you know, oh, they must really want to talk to me because have taken that interest, you know, the interest to do that investigation and then come over here and do another investigation that involves trying to contact her. So that's why it was just kind of like, I feel like if you did get to do that, I feel like that investigation would probably entail a lot more evidence. You'd probably have a lot more things come through and come forward in that situation. And a lot of it probably does have to do with the fact that it will be quiet. It will be much a different setting. And you'll be able to hear a lot more and see, you know, see a lot more. There won't be as many flashing lights and probably bugs flying around and that type of thing, you know, that y'all had in this in that investigation. So, well, I mean, I just think it's really neat. I mean, and this is a neat one for people to go and watch y'all's videos. Even if people don't know a whole lot about it, watch your videos and then go do some research. See what they're finding out from y'all, and then go and do some actual research if people are interested in this type of thing, you know. And so many people are. I mean, they're just interested in serial killers and finding out what really happened and wanting to know more about these people. So anyway, so I mean, I want everybody to go to your website and the YouTube channel and watch the videos, and then and they'll get kind of a closer look at these, you know, closer look into things. So I think it's neat.
Yeah.
It was a neat one for sure.
Oh yeah, and what people don't understand neither. I mean, that was the biggest, probably the most people that commented on any of our posts was about that. Now there was some nasty, not so nice things, and there was some people who lacked an understanding of maybe her crimes and who she really was. And all the research we did on her, she's the whole thing around her is quite interesting for everything that went on in her life, but how she justified it and justified what she did, really, you could tell she was messed up in the head. Her dad was a schizophrenic, so I believe that she was a paranoid schizophrenic herself. If I was to say anything about her, I feel that she didn't even understand herself. But I do feel she wanted to be loved so bad, you know, and all these different things happened to her. Even her own, you know, the girl that she loved with all her heart kind of like joined in to kind of basically entrap her and you know, shared phone calls with the police and everything like that. So she never really trusted anybody. So I think it's real hard for someone like that to go, okay, hey, let me go sit down over here with these paranormal group and knock on the wall and stuff like that, because she wouldn't have trusted very easy. It would take a while to gain her trust. And people don't realize that spirits, what they were in life, they are in death. So her connection with, she did believe in the afterlife. I mean, there was some things that she said before she was actually executed that drew you down that road. But her mentality was strange, because her last words were the mothership. She was waiting for the mothership to come and pick her up. So she was kind of, she was very lost in her brain, mentality wise. But she did say she would be back and stuff. It's just that her story's changed. I don't know how many of you have looked at some of her interviews. Google them and check it out, and you'll see in her eyes and in her demeanor that she was lost. She couldn't even, I don't think she even understood what she was saying, and she was very angry. She even said that she was at one point saying that the police implanted devices in her brain and devices in her cell to torment her, and that, you know, just different things like that. And they planted devices in her brain that made her murder people. I mean, it went to that extreme. And these are words from her mouth, not from something that we read. Yeah, it was different.
Yeah. Well, I guess so now the next step is y'all to try to get in that hotel or motel, probably. I'm sure it's more of a motel than a hotel, but and then there could be a second part to this investigate. So that'll be your second part to this investigation. But well, I'm glad we got to talk about this because it's definitely, I mean, it's an interesting one, and people need to, it's one that people need to do their own research. And like you said, go watch the videos, go watch of her, I guess, interrogations and stuff that I guess they have that on. I know I've watched a few things, and of course seen the movie and saw there's a couple of interviews that were on TV that that I had seen, but anyways, it's definitely one to, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, to follow and watch, and go watch your videos on the on your YouTube channel, because that's the real stuff. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I'm talking about the investigating, but not so much the Eileen Warnos part, but if you're interested in investigating, so that's where you're going to get to see how investigations are done and the process of that kind of stuff. So, and I think that's important for people that are interested in paranormal stuff. So they need to see real investigating, not the stuff that's on TV and that's narrowed
And
down to
dramatized. Yeah.
2-minute sections. So yeah. So, and you have a lot of, I mean, you've put quite a few of your investigations on your YouTube channel, so people can see multiple places that you've been and stuff. So, and that'd be a neat way for them to get involved. And then also, I want to tell people while we're on here, because I'm sure people will go back and watch this, that just tell them a little bit about how they can get in contact with you if they want a home or business or anything investigated in that area, in your area, because some people might be watching that and think, you know, they need to have their home investigated, or business, or land, even land sometimes is fun to investigate and find out what's going on your property. So anyways, if you want to let everybody know where to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say too, when they go and look at the investigations and stuff, realize that, like you said, we're not it's not for TV. You know, this is actual investigations, which takes hours and hours of doing, hours of repetitive questions, hours of doing stuff. Do we rely just on our psychic or mediumship abilities? No, we don't. My preference is I'll go in and I'll use my abilities, but I want to submit to them something that backs up what I tell them. And usually that is audio or video. Now, not every time that you go investigation do you catch something on video. That's rare. We have. If you'll go look at some of our videos, we've actually caught a door, you know, opening and closing. I've had caught a scarf moving. We've caught a full body apparition. We've caught different things like that. But it's not something that happens every single investigation. Mm-hmm. So what you're seeing on TV for Ghost Adventures and all those type TV programs is more dramatized for entertainment purposes, because investigating is not exactly the most thrilling thing. It is quite boring, and then you're having to do hours and hours and hours of review. And then for me, when I put an audio and video together for people to watch, those videos take me 2 weeks to do. So it's a lot of work that comes into it. But you can contact us. We're in the Ormond Beach area of Florida, and we will travel all around this area. Not if we're doing a residential, our preference is residential. We tend to get a lot more activity in the residential than you do the more of your commercials that everybody and their dog has investigated. We prefer to go and do a residential. It's like it's being investigated for the first time, and you're actually able to show them what you're saying and comparing the evidence that you capture at that time, to show them and help them out, not to be afraid of whatever it is that they need help on, spiritual counseling or whatever, not to be afraid. Most of the time we find that it is family members or people, loved ones that come back and want to just let their family members know that they're okay. And so you can go ahead and get on our website, and we have a contact form on there that all you have to do is enter the information and hit submit, and it goes directly to my email, and I will contact you back per that form. And we're quick to get to you. We're quick to weed out anybody that's wanting to have this done just for entertainment purposes. They're trying to entertain their family and friends. You know, we do this for free. It's at our cost, and it's quite expensive. We have a lot of equipment, and we have a lot of people that come on investigations. So we ask everybody to understand that, not do it just because you're trying to entertain your friends. It's serious business for us, and we're serious about what we do, and we do it because of our own personal experiences to help people, and that's kind of the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I'm glad we were able to get this working today and talk to people and let people, and maybe I don't know if we'll continue doing it this way or if we'll figure out our YouTube or what, but I guess we're going to try to do a show at least once a month. And so I just want everybody to know to keep an eye out for that, and kind of follow us on the Into the Shadows page, and we'll let you know. Maybe we can, hopefully next time we can plan a little bit more and advertise and let people know when exactly we're going to get on and do our show. And maybe we can even do this here and there, you know, do a little live segment, and you know, maybe like a 10-minute live thing every now and again, and just let people know what's going on, you know, with your investigating and with our
show,
readings, and with everything. So but I'm glad we got to do this, and people got to hear a little bit about the cool investigation that y'all got to do. And is there anything that's like coming up that you want people to know about, to be watching out for? Or I know y'all have a few investigations coming up, I think, but I didn't know if that was something that you're gonna advertise or anything.
Yeah, we have several that's in the making. I have myself, I have to have surgery, so we're not going to be doing anything in the months of June and probably a couple months after that. So we're going to be kind of taking a break. We've got the rest of this month, and there's some things in the works that we're doing here and setting up for in the future. So everything's kind of just getting the group together, getting the new people's bios, everything set up, all the videos. Now, the archives that we have from our shows that we did are also posted on our Into the Shadows YouTube page. So go there and listen to them. We've interviewed Steve DeSave, Bill Bean, Christopher Booth, gosh, so many. I already told Regina I downloaded some of the archives and put them in a YouTube format, and I've already downloaded 9 of those, and I probably have 6 or 7 more to go.
Well, yep, and those were some of those were some pretty fun shows. We talked about some pretty crazy stuff. So people on a couple of them, I know we had like the Queen of the Vampire Court of remember that one?
Yeah,
so we had some kind of out there ones, but then we also had some that were you know, more serious, and then we had, you know, what I like about our show is that we can talk to people that are famous for being on television shows, and then we can talk to somebody who's on just normal like we are, you know, that just has a you know, a paranormal team that's, you know, next door. So so that's what I like about us, is that we're not geared just for all the famous people. You know, we're not out there just say we don't want you unless you're famous, you know, that type of thing. So with that being said, if there's anybody out there that maybe wants to be on a show and advertise people on to do that too, to so people know what's in their areas, because these teams are everywhere, you know, and if you need help, there are reputable teams pretty much anywhere, you know, anywhere you are, there's going to be a team that's reputable. You just have to know who to ask about that. And with that being said, there's teams that you don't want, you know, to get to help you. And so anyway, and I think we know a lot of them. I mean, even overseas, even over, you know, UK, and there's places, you know, that we know a lot of teams and that could help people out. So anyways, with all that being said, I don't want to keep people on here forever, but but I'm glad we got
And
to
it
do
was
this.
a great format. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a great format, I think. And yeah.
Everything worked and we didn't lag. We got to talk. So anyways, but I guess until next time, we'll see. I don't know. Well, I guess this is probably gonna be the best way to do it until we can figure out the other. And then we'll see. Yeah, because it works so well. So anyways, so I guess we'll see everybody around.
Okay.
Is there
Thank
anything else
you. And we'll talk to y'all later.
All right.
No, not really. Just check us out. Bye.
All right.